Hello, class. Today we're going to look at the legislative branch and just kind of give you an overview about it. There's a lot of stuff to know here, so make sure you're taking good notes. To start off with, I want you to know that I'm going to give you a nice little chart so you can write all the stuff down, but I'm going to kind of preview it here, and then you'll know when to write it down. So, no, Congress has two parts. We've talked about this already. This is part of the Great Compromise. To make the big states and little states happy, we've split it up. So the Senate, we've got 100 people. We use this to make the small states happy because each state has equal representation with 2 votes. And in the House, to make the big states happy, this is based on how many people you have, your population. So, before we even get into all the parts, I want to talk about what a bill is and what a law is. It's not too hard, but we just got to make sure you get your terms right. So, a bill is a proposed law. This is something that Congress wants to pass. They just haven't passed it yet. So there are tons of bills that are proposed and they just don't pass, and they die. So a law is an actual rule or policy. It's been passed. It's official. Everyone has to follow it now. All right. So the process of how a bill becomes a law. You could read this entire chart and try to memorize it. Or you could watch this video that's on here. It's on Google Classroom. It's in the forum. It's I'm Just a Bill. It's from Schoolhouse Rock. Some of you have probably heard this. It's a great little one to give you kind of the overview. You don't need to know all this stuff. That's way too much. It's all true, but a little more than you need to worry about. So here's what you need to know. A bill can start in either house. Some bills can only start in one. We'll get there. Up top, we have the Senate. So a bill is drafted. That means they've come up with the idea. And what you need to know is it's drafted, and there's a committee. So it's a small group of senators who get to talk about it, who are kind of experts in their field, or they at least attempt to be. And they make a decision on, is this good enough to even let the rest of the Senate hear, or is it just something they don't want? So if they don't like it, it's tabled, which means it's done. But if they do like it, we go over and the whole Senate votes on it. And if they pass it, the whole process starts over in the other chamber. It goes to the House. So it goes to a committee, and the committee are the kind of experts on it. They'll talk about it, decide is it even worth bringing up. If not, it's done. If so, it goes on to a full vote. And if they vote and they pass it, it goes on to the president. All right. So the president has 2 choices. You all know about veto. Veto is where he says, I'm not a fan of it, and he sends it back. If he does that, Congress has the ability to override his veto. So if 2/3 of the people in both houses decide, no, we really do want this to pass, they can just ignore his veto and make it a law anyway. The easier way is just if he says yes and he signs it, and boom, it's a law. All right, so here's your fancy chart, which is going to help you with both houses. I would make this chart, and here's the great thing about doing this flipped model. You can pause this right now. I won't even know. Maybe you're paused now. I don't know. But you pause this, and then write everything down, and you don't have to worry about if I'm going on too fast. So please take advantage of that. I'm just going to go over it quickly, but you know what you got to do. So I've got your characteristic in the middle, what's similar and what's different about each one. We talked about the size already. We talked about how it's made up. 2 senators. In the House, it's made by population. The length of term. Senators get 6 years. That's pretty good. House of Reps, only 2 years. The whole reason they did this is they wanted to make sure that in the House they weren't basically taking over the government. So they limit them. So if they're doing anything we don't like for 2 years, we can get rid of them. They have some shared responsibilities, and these are just a few. There are many more. I just want to get you a few basics. Both sides can pass a bill. Combined, they can declare war. They choose the weights and standards. We talked about that. They can override a veto. Lots more. We've already talked about some with federalism. So any of the federal responsibilities that aren't listed under unique are pretty much shared. For unique, the House of Representatives can impeach the president. Hint, you might need to know this. Impeach does not mean get rid of a president. A lot of people think that. That is not what impeachment is. Impeachment is more like when your dog pees on the couch and you go, bad dog, bad dog. That's impeachment. So it's just saying, President, you did something that probably wasn't very good. If they do that, then it goes over to the Senate, and they have the power to remove a president. So once they've been impeached by the House, the Senate has a trial, and it's led by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He's the judge of the trial, and the Senate gets to vote on, are we going to keep him, or is it bad enough that we need to remove him from office? So that might be treason. Maybe he was, I don't know, giving secrets to another country. It could be any number of things. So both houses have a check on that. But remember, impeach does not mean remove. Another unique responsibility of the House is if a president can't be chosen in the Electoral College, we have a tie, they get to break the tie. Another one is they get to start revenue or tax bills. So anything dealing with money starts in the House. And if they like it, then it goes to the Senate. In the Senate, they can approve presidential appointments and treaties. So if the president tries to confirm a judge, they get to approve it. When he adds members to his cabinet, they have to approve it. When he makes treaties with other countries, they have to approve it. So there are a lot of good checks on the president here. Real quick, I want to go through the amendment process. I'm going to make it a lot simpler than what you see here, so I would listen to this. There are two ways an amendment can be proposed. And remember, an amendment is an official change to a document. It could be adding, it could be removing. It can be proposed two ways. The first way is 2/3 vote in both houses of Congress. The other one is a national convention called by Congress if 2/3 of the states vote for it. So it's either 2/3 of Congress or 2/3 of the states. After that, I only want you to worry about this one on top, on the right side. The bottom one, like it says, it's only been used once. I want you to know the top one. It has to be approved by 3/4 of the states. Sorry, back into it. So you don't have to worry about the bottom one, but the top one, 3/4 of the states have to approve it then. So it's 2/3 in the first part for states, now it's 3/4. So the bottom part, just don't worry about. All right. One of the last things is leadership in Congress. I want you to know who leads both houses. This one's easy. For the House of Representatives, it's the guy who speaks there, so he's called the Speaker of the House. His name is Paul Ryan. He's a Republican. That's what the little R means. If there's a little D, we're talking about Democrat. He's our current one. It was just John Boehner. It switched not too long ago. So you don't have to memorize these people, but I want you to know the positions. So leader of the House is the Speaker. He has a lot of power. He gets to choose which proposals go out to the floor to vote. So he gets to choose the order. So if there's something he doesn't like, he can say, oh, we'll get to it later. In the Senate, we have two leaders. The actual leader is the Vice President of the United States, which is kind of strange since he's in another branch. But he comes over for this. The thing is, he's not there very much. John Adams kind of set that precedent of realizing I don't really have much power as vice president when it comes to the Senate. I just kind of sit there. So he's not usually there. But if there's a tie in the Senate, because there's 100 of them, the vice president gets to break a tie. When he's not there, the person who usually runs things is called the president pro tempore. It means president of the temporary. So he's the temporary president of the Senate. But the vice president is really the president of the Senate. So a little confusing. His name's Orrin Hatch. Hopefully you knew the vice president's Joe Biden. Hopefully. And that's all we have for now. So I hope that gives you a good overview and you know a little bit about the legislative branch.